Hi. The big idea of the second screencast in our class is that there is an adolescent literacy problem in the US. Kids are learning how to read, but they are not able to read to learn. The screencast covers the reasons behind this problem and offers some potential solutions. I found it interesting that there has been very little research done on adolescent literacy and that there are not many experts on the topic. If this is such a big issue, why haven't there been more studies on it? Why has the research only been done in single classrooms with a single subject? It sounds like any recent studies have been simplistic and don't focus on what is important for the Common Core. If all teachers are required to teach literacy, then it's time for some in depth studies on literacy in multiple classrooms, multiple subjects, and not just at the middle school level, at all levels. Another interesting point that was brought up during the screencast was that elementary teachers are actually doing a good job, for the most part, teaching kids the basics of reading. So it's working at the elementary school, it sounds like. This is not translating to be able to read to learn, though. There's also a big gap between elementary school teachers and secondary school teachers knowing how to teach reading. So I found that really interesting. There's a gap there. Why is that? What can be done at secondary schools to help students read to learn better? Having all teachers teach literacy seems like a good way on the surface. How do you train teachers, however, who are not used to teaching reading, such as physical education teachers or music teachers? How do you train them to teach literacy effectively? I'm a physical education teacher, and so that's something that I definitely have questions about. I have some ideas, but it'll be good to learn some new ways to teach literacy. The statistic in the screencast that blew me away is that 70% of students entering the 5th and ninth grades read below grade level. That's crazy. It makes sense that poverty is an issue because a lot of things with schooling and literacy relates to poverty, but that only accounts for a small percentage of that 70%. For instance, at my son's elementary school, though, which is a Title One school, so there's lots of kids that are actually kind of near the or below the poverty level. Most of the students are at grade level in their reading. So at his elementary school, it's working. So is this going to change when they get to middle school, though? I'd be curious to see. If so, what are some of the things that parents can do to help reverse this trend as they go from elementary school to middle school? One of the solutions that was brought up in the screencast was that there should be more of students using their own words to explain what good reading looks like. At my son's elementary school, they actually do a very good job of having the students use their own words to discuss reading. One issue I've noticed, however, is that they move on too quickly from lesson to lesson. They don't spend enough time on one topic or lesson to give the students time to process and really learn the material, in depth. So why the rush? It's because the teachers have to teach all the Common Core materials and they have to focus on SBA testing. The students have to learn so many different things for standardized testing that teachers don't have enough time to teach anything in depth, and they are sometimes just teaching to the test. They're just churning through material. If they can slow down a little with all the subjects, not just reading, of course, I think it would be hugely beneficial to all the students' overall learning. Another solution that was brought up in the screencast was that the teachers must teach the why and how to read. Students need to learn how to make predictions, locate main ideas, ask questions, analyze, and identify multiple points of view. That all sounds great, but how's this accomplished? What are some teaching methods for doing this? Hopefully we'll learn more of that as this class continues. My son, who is 4th grade, has been reading more and more advanced books. He's above grade level in reading, but he sometimes struggles with the ideas I just mentioned above, or just mentioned a few seconds ago. I've been trying to talk with him and scaffold some of these with him, but it has been hit and miss so far. The two solutions that make the most sense to me for improving adolescent literacy are teaching reading comprehension strategies and, of course, what I just mentioned, scaffolding. Scaffolding teaching methods seems fairly straightforward. Teaching comprehension strategies does not. I would love to learn some ways of teaching reading comprehension strategies. What is the best way to research these methods? How can we spread the word about these methods to all teachers? On an ending note to this, to my video, it was great reading The Diary of a Part-Time Indian. As soon as I finished it, finished reading that, I went and grabbed my copy of it, and I'm going to, as soon as I finish the current book I'm reading, I'm going to start reading that. Sherman Alexie is one of my favorite authors, and I'm looking forward to rereading that book. It's a great book. And to me, this is one of the keys to teaching reading to kids. Find them material that will interest them. Thanks.